Take a look at this. Florida added 36,000 jobs during the month of October. Its private sector saw 35,000 jobs added. That, by the way, makes it the 30th consecutive month of job gains for the state. Pretty darn impressive. Congressman Byron Donalds joins me now. Congressman, Florida is showing economic resiliency. I think that's the best way to put it. Despite the effects of Hurricane Ian, Nicole, how is your state doing it?
Well, a couple things. You know, hurricanes were devastating to some of our areas, but our economic climate continues to be the soundest in the country. Number one, we actually have pretty good, consistent regulatory policies in our states. Obviously, we're a destination state. Number three, and most importantly, there is a consistency in how we govern. And so business owners, when they move here, they know there's not going to be a shifting in governmental, economic, regulatory policies. They're going to create issues. We are consistent in Florida, have been that way for quite some time. That's why our economy continues to grow and thrive, even with some of the imbalances across the rest of the United States.
And, you know, bottom line is it's working. And I think that's why you've seen the population grow so quickly. And those people escaping blue states where they come here and say, wait a minute, the taxes are considerably lower. And it's a very business-friendly environment.
Oh, yeah, 100%. First of all, no state income tax. I know my former colleagues in the state legislature and our current governor, we're not creating an income tax in Florida. That's just not on the table, not in the cards. Number two, we don't have really terrible environmental policies. Like, compare us to California, where the environmental policies, number one, are insane. And then number two, they try to change them and outdo each other every legislative session. That doesn't happen here. And so, and then also we have a port system. You can get to anywhere around the world. It's a really great environment for doing business, for raising your families, and also retiring. That's why our state continues to grow like it does.
It really does. All right, let's move on, Congressman. Former Vice President Mike Pence is building up his political staff. It's the very latest indication that perhaps he is preparing to run in 2024. Do you think Pence would make a good candidate?
Look, I think obviously Mike Pence has been in the game a long time, former vice president of the United States. I think he would make a good candidate. Look, I'm always feel like competition is healthy. So it appears that he's gearing up. We'll see what happens with the rest of the field. If the rest of the field materializes, there's going to be a lot of conversations between now and then. But let me be very clear. People need to understand this. Donald Trump's still a leader in the clubhouse. There might be other people who might want to apply for the job, but as it stands today, and probably for quite some time, he's the number one guy seeking the nomination.
But then those on the other side, Byron, will say, well, it just shows the Republican Party is split between, you know, Donald Trump supporters and perhaps people who are a little more moderate. What would you say?
I would say the other side of the aisle needs to mind their own business. Let's be very clear. For Republican voters and even independent voters, they're going to hate the Republican nominee no matter who that person is. So for all the people who are saying there's too much baggage, you might as well get that out your mind. Remember that there was Bush derangement syndrome. Remember what they did to Mitt Romney. The Democrats are not going to like our nominee, so I don't get into that kind of stuff. What I want to see is whoever's going to run for the White House. Obviously, Donald Trump is running. We'll see who else decides to get in. Just demonstrate what your agenda is. We already know what it is from Donald Trump, what he's going to do. Just demonstrate what your agenda is and see if Republican voters will support it. That's it.
All right. Now, on the other side of the coin, President Biden apparently is planning to use the holiday break to decide if he wants to run for president in 2024. What's your reaction to that?
First of all, I would say that if he's going to run for president again as a Republican, oh, please. Bring it on. Like, I'm excited about that one because he's been by far the worst president the country has seen in 100 years. And if I sit down and talk to real historians, not the one on MSNBC, you know, the real ones, he's probably the worst president we've ever had. Number two, I think that in terms of the Democrat Party, now I'm going to give the Democrats some free advice. This is what happens when you don't embrace term limits. This is what happens when you don't have changeovers in leadership. You get stale. They have a very thin bench. Who else are they going to run? Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg? I mean, come on. Line them up. We're going to beat him in 24. You know, I think if he's going to make that decision, he does it with his family. We see where he goes from there. I actually do hope that his health is okay, because nobody wants anybody to be ill or sickly and have their health fail them. It's something that's a tragedy for everybody. I hope his health is well. But when it comes to politics, the man must be defeated. He's a terrible president.
Well, we'll leave it right there. Fired up today, Congressman Byron Donalds, but you're fired up every day. We really do appreciate your time spent with us, though. Thank you so much, Congressman. Appreciate it.